useState is the first React hook you need to learn. In this video, we will look into why should we use, how we can use it, and some advanced techniques. Let's start with why. Users interact with our applications regularly. They might submit a form, save their preferences, and many more. As a result, the components we write needs to remember these things. In React, we use useState hook to achieve this. In JavaScript, we have variables to store states, so why not use regular JavaScript? Let's look at the following code. We have a gallery component that lists a car by looking at the index. We also have a button with an onClick handler. The handleClick function is increasing the index by 1. What will happen if I click the next button? Will we see the next image? Nothing happens. This is because React doesn't know it should re-render the component. We should inform React and say, hey, I want you to re-render this component. Something has changed. This is why we should use the useState hook. But how? Our component is not working properly. Let's fix it. First, we need to import the useState and replace our index variable. Let's look at each part. Here we are doing array destructing. With array destruction, we can unpack values from arrays. The first variable's name is index. This is our current state. When we want to do calculations, we will use this variable. The second variable is setIndex. This is a function to update the index variable. A common pattern for the second variable is to have a set prefix. useState function accepts a default state. Here we are passing 0. Finally, we have to update our handleClick function. Now, when I click the button, you can see that the gallery component is re-rendering and the image is changing. Let's look at what is happening. When the component renders the first time, React looks at the useState parameter and see the 0. So it returns this. Then we click the button and call this function. React knows that the index is 0, so the expression turns into this. When we call the setIndex function, we trigger a re-render. React remembers the last time you called setIndex with, which is 1. So it returns this and so on. You can have as many states as you want on your component. However, it is important for code maintenance to keep it low. When you see a component like this, it might be hard to understand what is going on. Another thing to know, state is private to that component. If we use the same component twice, each will have its own state. Here we are rendering two galleries, and clicking next on one doesn't affect the other. Let's look at more advanced stuff. We learned that we can update our state using a set function. Here we need to know the current value of the index. However, there is another way to access the current state. We can use the updater function. If we give a function to setIndex, the first parameter will be the current index. We can use this in our calculations. The returning value will be the state on the next render. If this sounds confusing, this is because we are using a shortcut for creating the function. We can do it the long way. setIndex is calling the function with the current state. This might come in handy when you want to pass only the set function as a prop. If you call setIndex 3 times, what do you think will happen? After clicking the button, the index value will only be 1. Not 3. This is because the set function does not update the index variable in already running code. If you still need to update it 3 times, you can use the updater function. React puts them in a queue, and during the next render, it calls them in the same order. You can store an object with useState, but don't try to update it like this. Instead, you should always use the set function. If you are using a function to create the default state, you can optimize it by passing the reference. Even though React cares about the default state only for the first render, in every re-render, it is still calling this function. This might hurt the performance if the function wastes a lot of resources. To fix this, we can pass the function itself as an argument. This way, React will call the function only one time during the initial render. There are more you need to learn about useState. However, I cannot put them into one video. If you have questions, leave a comment down below and I will help you. If you liked the video, please subscribe as I have 0 at the moment. Thanks for watching.